Hello GameMakers, this is GameMaker Rob, and in today's episode we now have rewards from the storyline. So whenever you finish a mission, or whenever you finish talking to someone and they advance the story, you'll see something like this. You'll get gold, items and units. If we go to our army, we can see we've got our reward units. If we go to the shop, you can see we've got more money. We've got 600 instead of 100, and we've got these items, an extra 3 swords, leather chest, that kind of thing. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just do, it's not really a bug fix, it just prevents a crash, because inside our draw region of OBJ test, we're drawing not just for the battles but for the conversations as well, and some changes we made to the battles mean that we do have a crash in the normal kind of story scenes. Like the first scene that you just saw then, we'll have some crashes if we don't do a couple of checks. So we're in the draw cell region, and we've got our first 4s there and the third 4 here, and after line 44 where we're drawing the floor, let me just minimize these regions to make it easy to see. Okay, so that's better. So we want to wrap highlighting nodes, whether it's a path or like a movement node. We want to wrap it inside this, because we just want to check to see if the map type is a battle. If it's not a battle, then we're having a story conversation. We don't want to do this, otherwise it'll give us a crash. And then same thing down here underneath the unit region for this animation battle stuff. Again, we want to check to see if the map type is a battle. If it is, great. If it's not, then don't do anything. Don't do any of this. And that's all we need to do. Okay, so when we transition back from a battle or a story conversation back to the world map, we want to have a little pause to display to the player what they've gained from the battle or the story, if they've gained anything at all. So we're just going to have a new state for that, and we're going to call it rewards, and we're going to add it in the create event of the player. So world, OBJ player, and create event, and just after in it doesn't really matter where, but I'll just stuck it here before idle. So after a battle or a story, we're going to be setting the player state to rewards rather than idle. Setting it to rewards means that the player input is going to be ignored, which is great, because we don't want to open our army screen or shop while the message is displaying, because it's going to get drawn over it. It seemed like the simplest method, just to use another state for this. So once you've got that, we can begin to implement our rewards. Okay, so let's go into the create event of OBJ main, and here at the bottom, zoom in. So we've got 3 lines that used to be further up in the code. I just want this to be easier to find, really. Any code that comes after it will still run, but when we want to change between editing, testing and the game, it just makes it easier to have everything at the bottom. These lines used to be in where is it? They used to be in the states region, like just under here. So I've moved them from this line under here to the very bottom of the screen. and if we just minimize this region again. So in setup story maps missions, we have a new region here called rewards, and we're going to have everything to do with rewards stored in this region. So we've got an enumerator. You can give gold, items, units, mix and match what you like as a reward for getting past a certain part of the story or for winning a battle. We're going to have a grid called global.rewards, which is going to hold all the information of what mission gives what, and the dimensions of the grid are going to be as many rewards there are by as many story points there are. So each part of the story is going to know how much gold, items or units the player is going to get. So we want to initialize the grid first of all, because gold is pretty simple. It's just going to be a number. There's nothing to worry about for that. But with items and units, the kind of simplest way I could think of really was to make a list for each entry of items and units, because if you want more than one item or unit as a reward, a list is a pretty simple way to do it. So, and then for each mission, we're just going to add what units we want to give as a reward to the unit list, and what items we want to give as a reward to the items list for each mission. Okay, so these lines here are actually filling the rewards. So what do I want to give the player for each mission? So after the debriefing, I want to give the player 500 coins. I want to give them I want to give them 2 swords and a healing spell, a heal 1 spell. So that's what we're adding to the items list. And then for the rewards list, I'm going to give them a fighter, an archer, and a mage. And if you remember from the start of the episode, that's these 3 characters are what you can see in the army screen after we receive the rewards. In the first battle, I'm going to give the player an extra 100. No units, but they're going to get an axe and a fire spell. And after the second battle, I'm going to give them gold, 500 gold, a knight and a warrior. I'm not going to give anything for the third battle because that's the end of the game. You know, the game's going to end then, so I considered it pretty pointless giving them a reward for that. And that's it. That's all we need to do to set up our rewards. So the next thing we're going to do is create a new script, and we're going to call it SCR rewards. This one here. And what it's going to do is it's going to, let me just have a look, zoom in for you. So as you can see, at the very top, we want to know how much gold we're going to get from this mission. We want to grab the item list and the unit list as well for this mission. Gold's pretty simple. We're just going to add the amount of gold reward to the player's gold stored here. For the items, we're going to use a for loop. Check which item it is, add it to the inventory. And for the units, very similar, check what unit it is. We need to add an entry to our classes and characters grid. We've already got a script for that, so we're just going to use the same script. And then we have to set the entry for in player's team to 1 so that we know it's a player unit, and that's how it's going to appear in the army screen. And that's it. That'll give us all of our new units. We're also going to have a new object called obj notification. We will make that in a minute. The notification object is going to display to the player how much gold, what items and what units they got. That's just the visual representation. That's all it does really. And then this region here. So we have two places in OBJ test where it can go back to the world menu. Either the conversation is finished and there's no battle, and we go back to the world menu, world map, sorry, or the player's won the battle, and then he goes back to the world map. So the code for both was kind of very similar. So I just decided to put that code into the reward script. You'll see that in a minute. And then we need to update the variables for OBJ test mainly, and the player. So we're going to do it here instead of inside the test object and the animation object. So I've copied and pasted most of this code, but we just increase the story state. We change the map, show map to false. We need to use OBJ test dot because the reward script can be run from inside OBJ animation as well as OBJ test. So we need to always put OBJ test dot for this now. Reset the camera, set the test object state to idle and the battle state not ready. We're going to set the player state this time to rewards, and then in case of a battle, destroy any actor objects. And that's it for the reward script. Next thing we'll do is we will create the notification object, which you'll see here, obj_notification. And in the create event, we're going to have a timer. We're going to have a variable called wait time. So what these are for basically is the message is going to appear. Time is going to run by, it's going to increase by 1 per step until it gets to room speed. Then we're going to have OK displayed in the bottom right. If the player hasn't already pressed enter by then, they'll know to press enter. Otherwise, if the player presses enter before timer gets to room speed, then we're just going to say, okay, the player's ready to get rid of the message, and then just delete it. That's why we've got an extra variable called destroy. When we press enter, destroy gets set to true. If timer equals room speed and destroy equals true, we're going to get rid of the object. So next event is going to be the end step. So as like I said, if we press enter, set destroy to true, increase the timer by 1. The timer is greater than or equal to room speed and destroy, so we've pressed enter. Then set the player's state to idle. So we used to be doing this, we were doing this inside OBJ test and animation, but because we want to stop the player from being able to do anything until after the rewards bit, we set the player state to rewards instead. But now is the time we want to set them to idle to allow the player to move around, open the shop, that kind of thing, and then destroy the notification object. And last of all, in the draw GUI, it's kind of lengthy, sorry about that. So we want to draw items and units with a scale of 2 times their size. We want to know the item width, item height, unit width, unit height, just to be able to display things properly. Start X and start Y are going to be where do we want to start drawing things from. We want to have a black background over the bottom part of the screen. That's all this is for. Then this stuff, so we want to show how much gold was gained, what items were gained, what units were gained. And then this bit here, like I said, if the timer is greater than or equal to wait time, room speed, then we want to draw OK in the bottom right. It just gives an indication to the player that, okay, I have to press a button to get rid of it. So this region, show how much gold was gained. We're just setting up our variables here. Text is going to be the amount of gold the player's getting, and then we're going to draw that here. Items, very similar, except this time we're going to use a for loop to display the items. So get what item it is, set the draw coordinates, and then draw the item. Obviously the image index for our sprite is the item itself. I like to do it that way. And then show what units were gained is very similar to items. So get the unit from inside a for loop, set the draw coordinates, but this time we might as well just use our army screen draw script to draw it. A couple of things that I need to rename. This script is one of them, and obj test is another, really. And that's it for this object. That's all we need to do. So now that we have set everything up, we just need to actually run the reward script. We have to put it into the code somewhere. So in obj test, where is it? In the end step, we want to be in the conversation region. And under the region where it says create actors and add them to actor grid. So we've got if state equals misstates.done. We'd normally set the variables here to let the player move around and go back to the world map. But if you recall, we're doing all this now inside the reward script, so we just need to put the reward script there, and that's it. And then in the animation object, step event, in battle intro, so we want to be in the victory region, and then underneath where we update the actor objects. Again, this stuff has been commented out because we're doing it inside the reward script. We don't need this because we do that inside the script as well. We just need to run reward script here. That's it. Just comment out this stuff and run the reward script, and that's it. We should be good to go. So let's run the game. Let's talk to our guys. We've received some stuff. Check the army screen. Got some units. Check the shop. Got some gold. Got more items to sell. So if we now go to the first battle, let's add our units, and then let's see them in battle. I'm just going to cheat and destroy the enemy again. I press escape and then backspace. Victory. And now I've gained more gold and a new item, an axe, but no units. So go to army screen. Let's give Butts an axe. I'm going to change this because this is the only point in the game where we use a mouse to change stuff. I don't quite know why I decided to do that, so I'm going to change it to just keyboard presses in a future episode. So you can see we've got our brand new axe and we're giving it to Butts. That's part of our reward. And if we go back to the shop, we should be able to see our money has increased as well. So we now have 700 gold. So let's go to the next battle. Let's add our units again. Again, I'm going to cheat to win the battle. And we've gained more money and some new units. So go to the army screen and you can see we've now got a knight and a warrior to our squad. And that's it. The game's coming along nicely. Sorry if you're one of those people who waited 3 weeks for this episode. I had some problems updating to 2.3. It was my fault, really. It wasn't Yo-Yo's fault. It was my fault. Yeah. So I think we're probably going to be doing a title screen with saved games next week. I think it's a good point. We need to include sound, a couple of improvements. For example, I want to have like a circular display, a radial display for units in the army screen, so that even if you have 100, you can still see them all. Something like that. And also just to change using the mouse to equip stuff, because that's a bit silly. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching. I will catch you next time. Bye for now.